Okay, so today we're going to be talking about 3 tips to take your laning stage to the next level in the safe lane. And by all means, I actually made a video before this about the off lane, so now we definitely got to talk about the counters to all those tricks, tips and tricks that an off laner will do for against a safe laner. So here we go. Um, the first and foremost one is actually to make sure that you don't aggro creep so much, but there are certain times in the game where you kind of want to aggro just to go against what the enemy offlaner is doing so that he doesn't try to fuck your lane over. And there's actually a few clips that I can show you here. This is actually a game about a team that I played against. Yeah, it was like we call it a scrim, but where we were like 5v5. And we lost to them, but it's not because of entirely because of the enemy carry. But yeah, I think this is actually a losing lane for Aslada, which I was playing, but I kind of played it pretty well. But this guy made sure that I couldn't get everything I wanted out of the lane. So the first things first is I'm just gonna rewind it. So any off lane that knows how to play the game is gonna try to aggro the creep wave towards your range, towards they are range creep so that they can start denying it lah. So let the range creep take some damage from the creep and then you start denying it. That way your lane pushes up because everyone knows the range creep is the one that gives the most damage output among the laning creep. And so what I did is I pulled the wave. As you can see, I just pulled the melee creeps towards my range creep. And what this guy did is, what this does to the enemy safe lane is that it actually forces him to either tank it up, or if it goes into to kill his range creep, this one here, it will actually take tower damage. Because if you don't block, and most safe laners don't block the creep wave, what happens is that because it's actually more dangerous to block the creep wave, if you do and the enemy offlane doesn't block, you have a tendency to have your lane uh, within the tower range, and then your tower is just gonna start hitting the creeps, and your lane's just gonna go all the way up, and then the offlaner can take a big advantage out of that, okay? So we don't want that to happen. So usually they don't block, and what happens here is that if the offlaner also doesn't block, so the lane is put in a place where it's very risky now for you to aggro. And what you want to do is you either want to aggro it down to the right side, or if like what happened here is that the enemy offlaner, which is me, pulled the creeps towards the range creep and then was pulling it away. So now the melees are just going to walk into the tower to hit the range. What this guy did was pretty good, and I feel like he kind of balanced out his lane and equalized the equilibrium of the lane just by doing this one little thing. Yeah, okay, let's see that again. So bam, I aggro towards creeps. So what he does is he pulls the creep higher, then he aggros just to make sure that the creeps don't go and hit the range, and he aggros again to pull the creep wave up, making so that the range creep, his range creep comes out of aggro range. So you can see I'm holding the tower, I'm holding on ultimate, so you can see the tower aggro, so it's out of it. So this way the melee creeps don't die to the tower, and you see he can just tank the wave and hold the wave here, and then the next wave, his next wave is going to come and he can just keep the creeps here. So he kind of maintains creep equilibrium. This is one major trick that everyone should know, every safe laner should know, because honestly speaking, safe lanes now are usually the hardest. It's not really the safest lane anymore. Yeah, and usually carries are built with mechanics to bring themselves back into the game. Try to just find a way to get out of laning stage doing even or not too bad, and then you're technically doing good. Obviously, Slada against Ursa, Ursa has the edge as long as the Slada doesn't know how to outplay the Ursa. Okay, tip number 2. Basically, buy boots early instead of other smaller items. Okay, I'm gonna go to player perspective of the Ursa right now, and you can see even he has the same idea. He has boots queued up. 2 reasons though. Ursa, one, benefits a lot from boots, okay? But generally, okay, let's just talk about that first. So Ursa generally benefits from boots just because he needs to chase, and the longer he can chase you and hit you and hit you, he just damages stacks up and stacks up and stacks up. So all the melee heroes just suffer. Voila. So that is the main attack advantage of Ursa having boots. Other choice is Orb of Venom, but fuck that, we're gonna talk about boots. So boots gives you 2 benefits. It also lets you play defensive, and it is the best defense item for an early game item. A lot of people think, buying more stats, buying a wand, I think a stick is sufficient. You see, he's got the wand queued up, but he's definitely going to prioritize his boots first. Okay, also 2 reasons for that. Not a lot of spells are being casted in this lane. You're not going to benefit so much. Benefiting from the boots is a lot more. So yeah, and there are actually a few clips I can show you where the boots actually benefited him. So his first 500 gold, he buys up his boots, and he starts couriering it over. And later you'll see where, okay, I actually force the lane high up. I bring it back all the way up. I'm gonna remind you guys again, I'm the Slara. So yeah, I bring it all the way up, and there'll be now he's in a very dangerous spot. If he wants to fight for creeps, there's a chance that we can go on him because he's exposed. Yeah, here. Okay, you see how we're just going on him, and then we've actually fucked him over with his Q, and we pulled him back into it, so he really couldn't get away from us, and we may not have killed him here because the Sven was nearby, but we could have put in a lot more damage, and this guy would be sitting with like uh 200 HP, and you don't want to lane with 200 HP. If you can't go for a creep again, I'm just gonna run at you, So this is why boots actually benefits you so much more. The third and last trick is actually something he did just now, which is also about aggro, but basically safe laners, like I just said, safe lane now is technically the hard lane, but you don't want to just sit there and just like, look at the guy hit creeps while you're just sitting there in behind some tree trying to get EXP, right? So you want to still play the lane, play the game, right? Still want to try to get some CS, You miss every shot you don't take. If you try, you might actually get the creep, but you don't want to die for it. So in a way, you can do some few things to try to get, okay lah, not really a few things, but this is the one main thing lah, okay, that will really help you get the CS, which is to aggro the creeps as they are getting lower in HP when they're about to go into like a creep kill. So you see, he aggroes this creep, then he tries to get it. So this way the creep comes nearer to you and your opponent has to actually go out of his way and go through a creep wave just to get to you. And when the opponent does that, there's a chance that if they aggro, they take a lot of damage from the creeps as well. So it's just an overall win for you instead, and it's just safer lah. Okay, every time you can play closer to your tower, it's just safer. So that's your three tips on how to win the safe lane as an immortal player. If you like these videos or these kind of videos and you want to get better at Dota 2, maybe you should consider clicking on these links, for they might help you gain some MMR. MMR, MMR, MMR. Hey.